Hello and welcome to today's video. Well, after making some fairly grim videos about the various different things that's going on in the world, low emissions parking and whatnot, I thought it was about time we did an auction video. So I've actually got two videos for you tonight. First up, we're going to do the Southwest vehicle auction results, and then we're going to do Matthew Sons. So first up, we're going to dive into the Southwest vehicle auctions sale, which took place the end of January, actually. I just haven't had a chance to cover this one. Now, I did mean to make a video about this one before it came around, but unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to. So we don't have the reserve prices here, but what we do have is the sale prices, and thankfully there's not too many lots. So we're going to do this one, and then we're going to do Matthew Sons. So first up, lot one, Audi TT Quattro, £600, including buyer's premium. Now, annoyingly, you can't open the cars in a new window on the SWVA website. SWVA, please sort it out so I can open multiple tabs. This looks like a pretty clean car for £600. Let's just go down to the description and see if there's a catch. Good condition, 225 horsepower, 1.8, 5 owners, owned by the vendor last 6 years. Car was taken out of dry storage 2024, last used properly in 2015. Okay, so it needs putting back on the road just slightly. Rare opportunity to own a classic with good history, while it requires some recommissioning work for an MOT. Okay, so there's no MOT on it, but £600 for a clean car, and I love the Audi TTs on these early style 5-spoke wheels. Really nice looking car, that, for the money. Granted, needs a little bit of work with the buyer's premium on top of that as well. Then we've got a Rover Metro, £275 plus the buyer's premium. What is the buyer's premium? Let's see if we can find out. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Buyer's premium, 10% including VAT, minimum £150 plus VAT. So basically, let's call that 200 quid minimum, 10% including the VAT. So you've got to add 10% on as well. So let's get back to the auction. So basically that makes that pretty much a £500 Metro. Still cheap for a Metro. Volkswagen Jetta GTI, £2,350. But don't forget, add 10% to these prices as well. That seems pretty strong for that, actually. It's got like a lot of Volkswagen tax on it, but you don't see many of those Jettas at all. Rover 214, £750, 64,000 miles. I've got one of those in my barn, actually, pretty much, although mine's a Rover 25. Jaguar XJ Sovereign TD VI. Now, this looks like a bargain because these are very capable cars. So that goes for around about 2,000 quid. Lovely car for the money. Volkswagen Golf GTI, £820 on the hammer. Ford Focus ST170, 2003, 1,150 quid, but there's no display of the miles. Mercedes-Benz 190e, £4,300 with 115,000 miles. That is strong money for that car, I think. Jaguar S-Type V6, £600. There's just too many of them around, and not many people want to buy a V6 Jaguar S-Type. MG-TF. These MGs, they just haven't gone up in value, have they? You can always buy an MG for around about £1,000. There's just so many of them out there, and they're great little cars. Jaguar XK8 convertible goes unsold. Z3 Roadster, £950. It's the 2-litre. I would have the 1.9 with a manual gearbox. It's a better car than the MGF, but it's not as good as a daily through the winter as an SLK, because the roof in a Z3, I think, is actually worse than the roof in an MGF. It's like living in a tent. Kawasaki KLX 250, £2,000. Another Jag XJ6 this time, 1,750 quid. Citroen CX GTI. CX-25 GTI Turbo 2, £4,400. Let's take a look at this one, shall we? Can't open it in a new window, annoyingly, but these Citroens are doing well at auction. We had a couple of GTI Citroens go through Anglia Classic Car Auctions that did pretty well. So, decent money for a rather cool car, and that will be incredibly comfortable. I would prefer one without leather, if I'm honest. The leather wears really badly, as you can see, and with the cloth upholstery, that is going to be a very comfortable car. Well sold, that one. Alfa Romeo Spider, 480 quid with buyer's premium. That is a cheap little car, even with the premium on top. We've only got 4 pages of this, so I'll just fly through them and then we'll get onto the Matthew Sons auction. Internet is much faster here. Where are we now? Langkawi Island, and I've got faster internet than I have in Worcestershire. Hilarious. Rover 825 Sterling does £3,200.
£6,000. It's only a 35,000 mile car, but I've always found with Rovers like that, lots of people like to talk about them, but nobody actually likes to buy them. But this has bucked the trend. Let's take a look at this, because apparently it's got black piping on the leather. This is a rather lovely looking car. I always felt like the suspension at the front sits too high on these. It almost like it needs to come down by 30mm to even the car out. On an R-Reg, 1998, badged as a Sterling. That is a lovely thing, actually. I really like this. So I can understand why this did the money. There you go. Grey leather, automatic gearbox, black piping on the seats. Find me another one of those. That is exactly why that car has sold for that amount of money. That's a lovely car. It's a V6 quad cam, 24 valve, and yet Rover really were kind of destroyed by the British media. I mean, yes, they had lots of their own problems, but what a lovely car that is. Just not going to be as built as well as a BMW or a Mercedes, but there we go. Jaguar XJS, these are doing really well since Chris Harris bought his. £4,500, only 20,000 miles. A great way to get through a heck of a lot of fuel, because that's the 5.3, and these are shockingly thirsty cars. They really, really are terrible on fuel. Love the Mitsubishi L200 four-wheel drive turbo diesel single cab. Again, find me another one of those. 2,600 quid, and you can put it straight to work. A great practical car. GPZ 550 Kawasaki, £250 with buyer's premium. CB400, 1,025. Honda Shadow goes unsold. Yamaha FS1 DX moped, 2,000 quid. That's a cool little bike, that is. I like that. Kawasaki GPZ, another one unsold. And then we've got a Reliant Scimitar GTE, 1977, 2,000 not warranted miles, only makes £1,000, which is quite funny because we had a Scimitar that did really well recently, but that is a cheap Scimitar. Morris 10.4 Tourer, this is a lovely looking thing actually, 1934, £4,500. I would buy that and just use it. I mean, that is exactly what you want for taking to your local classic car show, isn't it? What a lovely little thing that is, and you're driving around in a car that is almost 100 years old. Never going to lose any money on that. It's always going to be worth pretty much exactly what you've paid for, and I'm sure there's a few little improvements that you can make to bring it up to date, but just a cool thing. A slice of history for very little money. We've got a Porsche Boxster Cabriolet. Again, these are going fairly cheaply because there's a lot of them available. High miles on this one, 173,000, but 2,800 quid plus 10%. I mean, it's only just about 3,000 quid, and you're in a Porsche. MGB Roadster 1978 makes £3,400. I'm not really sure about the rubber bumper Roadster, but it does look nice in yellow. Austin A35 1958, £2,000. Don't know why the photo's not working there. Now, I really like these Cavaliers. That may surprise you. Vauxhall Cavalier 2000 GL 1981, £3,400, and it's listed as brown, but I would call that orange, browny orange, very period correct colour. Cool car, but again, not worth that much money. £3,500 plus the premium. Triumph TR7, I got to admit, I don't really understand the TR7, and it's not really found its way in the classic car world, selling for just £2,700. Short wheelbase modified Land Rover, £5,500 plus buyer's premium. Land Rovers are always loved, just not the new ones. Moving on to page 3, we've got an MG Midget. Love a little midget, £2,500 quid. That's a bit of fun, that is, for that money. Really nice looking little car. In fact, we'll take a look at this because I do think an MG Midget is a really sensible thing to own. It does look like it's a couple of shades of blue. It's quite distinctly 2 shades of blue, isn't it? I thought that was the lighting on the picture, but then you go to the next picture and look, this front end's a completely different blue. But it doesn't matter on a car like that. You can sort that out fairly easily. Nice car. It's got a roll cage. It's got a 1-digit number plate, which I quite like. Use that for the summer, do some touring with it, get yourself out and about, get yourself a boot-mounted rack, and you are away in a lovely little British classic. Drive that around the world. Right, let's go back to the auction. Sunbeam Rapier, 3A 1962, good looking car, £6,000 plus the premium. Morris 8 Series 1 4-seater Tourer does £7,300. Morris Minor 2,700 quid. There's just too many of them available for sale. A Triumph Stag. Stags are doing well since James May used one on the Grand Tour, £6,200. Another Sunbeam Rapier. This one does £5,000. That's nice though, isn't it? In the gold with the swage line down the middle. Love the look of that. And then a Nova GTE. Sadly, it's not completely bog standard, which is what I'd like to see. So it does £6,500, but Vauxhall Novas have gotten very thin on the ground. We've got a Healy Frog Eye Sprite 1961, £5,000 plus the buyer's premium, and then an SL55 AMG. That is a very cheap way to go 200 miles an hour, but if we open this, I think that rear suspension looks like it's sitting too low, so not sure on that one unless someone's messed with it. But these can be horrendously expensive when the suspension starts to play up, which it usually happens after water gets in the boot. But what did it sell for? That's a nice looking car. Let's go back where I can actually see what it sold for. £8,500. That is £100,000 worth of car, and I think those can crack almost 200 miles an hour. So if you've got to spend a little bit on the suspension, so be it. That's a nice car for the money. Obviously, I love the Ford Zodiac Farnham Estate because it's an estate, but it doesn't sell. Mondeo ST24 V6. These are getting very thin on the ground. £4,500. You used to be able to pick these up cheap, but people are now starting to realise that they've all rusted away, and good ones are starting to sell for strong money. Another MG Roadster, £4,500, but no picture. Volkswagen Corrado VR6 Storm. £10,000 that one makes. That's because it's the metallic green colour with the beige interior. That's very nice because normally they're blue. Ford Sierra Azura, I'm sure that's meant to be Azure. Let's take a look. 1992, £3,700. That's quite strong money for a Sierra, to be totally honest, because I've seen Sierras go through auction and not get all that much interest. Where's the rest of the photos gone? Why is that not loading? Has my internet dropped out? After everything that I said about internet in Langkawi, that's a nice looking car, isn't it? These used to be everywhere, didn't they? Everybody had Ford Sierras. My dad had 2 Ford Sierras as company cars. In fact, one of them was an XR 4x4. It isn't a Azura. I am wrong. My dad had an XR 4x4. I love the way it's got the Sandycliff badging on the back for the dealer as well, so a very original looking car. Yeah, my dad had an XR 4x4 and it used to do something stupid like 17 miles to the gallon back in the days when fuel was cheap. Then we've got a Cadillac Brougham Sedan DeVille 1989, 5,350 quid. What a cool car for smoking around in. Model T 2-seat runabout pickup truck, £9,600. That's very cool, isn't it? I like the look of that. And onto the final page. What have we got? What's waiting for us here? Mini Clubman Estate does £4,300. I think that sounds quite cheap. Renault Caravelle 1968 does £6,000 as we wait for the internet to come back on. Bentley Arnage R. I do like the look of these Bentley Arnages. I just think that is so little money for such an expensive car, although you may be walking into a world of pain. Now that we can see the Caravelle properly, that is absolutely beautiful. This is my pick of the auction. £6,000, tax and MOT exempt, and just look at it. That is as good looking as any expensive Ferrari or Pininfarina design thing. It's got a cool number plate on it as well, SGT5L. Oh, it says Geoff Thompson in the number plate. Love it. Nice example of a 68 Caravelle. Eye-catching bronze, retrimmed black leather, soft top hood tucked neatly beneath the removable hard top. Purchased in July 2019 at our summer classic car auction. Oh, I wonder what it sold for in 2019. Let's do a little bit of digging because we'll be able to find the results of this. Renault Caravelle 1968, July 2019, SWVA auction results. Can't type. Wonder what it sold for. 2025. There you go. 2019. And in 2019, this car made. Where is the? Well, the estimate was 5 to 6, and it sold for £6,200. So £6,200 in 2019, and then it sells for £6,000 in 2024. Now, if that doesn't tell you exactly what the classic car marking is doing, then I don't know what is. Has he done any work? Purchased by the vendor in July 2019. Great history file with invoices amounting to £4,000. Now, I wonder if that's been done recently. Between 2016 and 2018, the interior was fully retrimmed. 2018 saw the addition of polished stainless bumpers. New fuel tank and sender unit were done in 2019. October 2024, extensive mechanical work included new front and rear discs, brake pipe replacement, caliper servicing, repairs to the brake and clutch, fulcrum bar and brake pedal, £2,647. So it's purchased at this auction It has £2,500 spent in it in 2019, and then it sells in 2024 for less than it sold in 2019. That is a perfect illustration of what the classic car market is doing at the moment. Yes, it's a bit specialist, but it's also beautiful. People are buying cars because they like them. There's no longer any speculation in the market. All the stupid money seems to have left the classic car market, leaving us enthusiasts to pick up the pieces and buy some bargains. Speaking of which, MGB Roadster 1978, £3,500. Rover P5B, £10,000. These P5Bs, 3.5 litres, will always sell well because they're just lovely looking things. Sort of reminds you of the police back in the late 60s and early 70s. BMW 530 V8 Touring 1996, £8,450. If the internet is going to play ball, we're going to take a look at this car today because this sounds like a bit of me. This is an E34 BMW, and that is absolutely beautiful. V8 wagon classic car. What's the details? 530 Touring, one owner from new, purchased new by the current registered keeper for £38,000 from the main dealers in Bridgewater. Find me another one of those. Oh, sorry, I said V8, didn't I? It's straight six, of course. My mistake. It's not a V8. It's a V8? What? What am I missing here? I thought the V8 only came as a 535. I thought that 530... No, I'm in the wrong era. They weren't doing the 3-litre six-cylinder at this point. It must have been a V8. Wow, I stand corrected. This is the coolest car. Wow, we've got two very cool cars in this auction. We have this 530 Touring V8, and then we have the Renault Caravelle. And both of them could be bought for a combined amount of what, £17,000? That is two very, very cool cars for the money. What would you pick? Do you want the 530 or do you want the Renault Caravelle? I want both of them. In fact, I want a trailer. I want to tow my Renault Caravelle behind my ultimate driving machine because look at that interior. That is immaculate. Wood gear knob, blue leather, all the toys. These E34s are such nice cars. I went to California many moons ago and bought an E34 525 and drove it all around California. It was absolutely fantastic. Love that car. They drive so well from an era when cars were actually built properly. So there we go. That's what's going on with the classic car market. This is why we've got problems in the classic car market. I would rather buy this car for £10,000 than any new BMW, and £10,000 won't get you anything in terms of a new BMW, and it will buy you a touchscreen and a load of problems if you're in the second-hand market. So there you go. I will have this car over anything that BMW have got to offer on their forecourt. What else we got? Lot 58 Jaguar XKR 2004, strong money on that one, £7,000. Again, there's a lot of those available in the marketplace. For some reason, the thumbnail pictures have stopped generating, so I appreciate you bearing with me on the internet. Sorry, it's an XKR. Did I say XJR? It's an XKR, and it looks like it's been fettled with a little bit. That's definitely not the standard wheels, but it's an R, which means it's the supercharged 4.2-litre V8. Again, that is a cheap way to go almost 200 miles an hour. The car boasts racing green XKR 450 Grand Prix package, upgraded supercharger pulley, revised engine management, water methanol injection, high-flow large-bore exhaust system, switch-shift steering wheel mounted push-button gear controls, 20 grand's worth of enhancements to push the car to 450 horsepower. I bet that would do 200 mile an hour. What a cool car for the money. Yep, I like that. What did it do? About £8,000, £6,750. A couple of cheap ways to go 200 miles an hour in the SWVA auction. Jaguar Mark III goes for £17,200. Sorry, Mark II. Everybody loves a Jaguar Mark II because of Inspector Morse. And then we've got a Sunbeam Alpine. We have to take a look at this because the proportions of the Sunbeam Alpine are almost perfect, and you don't get that with any modern car. Look at the size of the wheels. Look at the way the wheels sit in the wheel well, the size of the door relative to the size of the body. It is a perfect design of a small convertible roadster, one of the finest looking roadsters in my personal opinion. I absolutely love the style of a Sunbeam Alpine. You can see the leftover tail fins here from that whole USA thing when Britain tried to copy the USA with their car. So we've got some very small tail fins on there. We've got the gorgeous Italian style front end, just a fantastic looking little car. Yeah, you can tell that I am a big fan. It's so simple. It's such a simple design. It brings together a lot of the things that I really love about car design. We've got a small grille, round headlights, beautifully sculptured front end. In fact, I saw a meme the other day that said where they think that the styling, when you're sat in the driver's seat and you look down the front of the car like this, here's a meme that shows what they think that might look like. Sorry, ladies, but I just thought that was quite hilarious because you've got the sculpting of these voluptuous wings here, and then the bonnet as well. It does seem to form that sort of shape. So sorry, ladies. Gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that one, but that is a lovely looking car. I really like that, and it goes for less than 10 grand. Absolute bargain. Right, another X car, Stratton limited edition, doesn't sell, probably because there were lots of other Jags to choose from. So there we go. That is the Southwest Vehicle Auctions sale. SWVA is a funny one. I think sometimes they have a lot of stuff in there that you just think, that really should have gone through the main auction. But I feel like they're less well known in the classic car world, which means you can pick up some bargains. They do have some absolute gems where you think, oh, that actually deserved to be in a slightly more upmarket classic car auction. So that's it. That's my video. Love the Renault Caravelle, and I love the Bentley Arnage, and I absolutely love the BMW. Let me know what your choices were in the comments, and that ended up being a longer video. So I think what I'll do is I'll do the Matthewson's one in a separate video. And I'll put that out tonight, actually, so you can watch the Matthewson's one. Yeah, let's do that. We'll have this one go out at 6 p.m. tonight, and then 8 p.m. tune in, and I'll do the Matthewson's one as well. So going around to the driver's side on this first car, there's not a huge amount of space, actually, for me to get in there. There's all sorts of bird poo and detritus on there as well. And you can see that a cat has been on there, and that may well be Monkey. Big, heavy door, because as I said, it is double glazed. It's still got a sill cover on it. Oh my gosh, the key is in the ignition. That is incredible. We've got to try it, haven't we? We've absolutely got to try it. Right, I'm going to do that around this side. It'll be an automatic, so I don't need to worry about that. There's no way it's going to start.